Hi, Charles SirBookSage here, and this is my Holly Jolly Readalong TBR video. The Holly Jolly Readalong was put together by Bookish Porcupine. I will link her announcement video down below. And it runs from December 19th to December 23rd. And there are 5 reading challenges for this readathon. And I'm going to dive right into the challenges and what I've selected for them. Now, first up is to read either a graphic novel or a short story. And I've chosen to go with a short story. And I'm going to be reading The Winter's King by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's actually printed here in The Wind's 12 Quarters, a book of short stories of hers that was published a while ago. And The Winter's King is part of her whole Hainish cycle. It's a prequel to The Left Hand of Darkness, which is one of her more famous books. And I've never actually read the little short story prequel, even though I've read The Left Hand of Darkness a couple of times. And The Left Hand of Darkness is an excellent, excellent book. So I'm looking forward to finally, after 30 years or so after, or 40 years even after I read The Left Hand of Darkness, to read the prequel. So pretty excited about that. Next up is to read a holiday story. And back in October, I read A Christmas Carol for the very first time. And I told myself that as we got close to Christmas, I'm just going to reread it again because I enjoyed it so much. So that's what I've chosen here, is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. If you have not read A Christmas Carol, I highly suggest it. It's a short book as well, but it's a wonderful story. Dickens is such a masterful writer anyway. He's well worth reading anything he's written. And this I particularly loved, though, because you get a sense of what Dickens could have been like as a fantasy writer or even a horror writer. And he does such a great, great job with this story. And I was really, really pleased about how much I enjoyed it. And you could vividly see his descriptions, and easy to see why it's a classic and why it's made into a movie so many times. So I'm really looking forward to rereading this again. Now, the next challenge is read a book with green or red on the cover. And I decided to go with red. And I am going to be reading Auntie Mame by Patrick Dennis. Now, this was made into a film starring Rosalind Russell. Absolutely wonderful film. One of my all-time favorite movies. Rosalind Russell was just absolutely brilliant in that film. And I remember one of my favorite lines from the movie is, one of her sayings is, "Life's a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death." And it's about getting out there and living your life. And this was actually a gift from my brother, Billy. And though I'm not using it for the next challenge, which is a gift, I've decided to use it for the red on the cover instead. And I've yet to read it. And this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and this is the book it's based on. So happy and excited to finally give this a read. And then next up, the gift to you. And the reason I didn't choose Auntie Mame, even though I could have, is because I am going with another Ursula K. Le Guin story. And this is her book, Planet of Exile. Now, just like The Winter's King, this is part of her Hainish cycle. And I have not read these books in 20 years or more, maybe 30 years even. It's been a long, long time. And back in the day, this would have been in the 70s, publishers would publish little mini box sets of mass market paperbacks from an author, usually part of some sort of series. And this was part of a 4-book set. It was Planet of Exile, Rokinen's World, City of Illusions, and The Left Hand of Darkness. And I remember seeing it in the bookstore in the mall in New Jersey, because we were living in Jersey at the time, and I would always tag along with my mother. And part of the reason would be me getting to go to the bookstore and either getting a book or pointing out the things that I wanted to get for Christmas. And one of those things was this box set of these 4 paperbacks. And so this was my Christmas present, probably in 1974, among many other books and presents I got that year. And so I'm going to be reading this. I figured if I was reading the short story that takes place in the Hainish cycle, I'm going to be reading Planet of Exile as well. And I'm actually reading another one of the books in this series from that same box set in one of the other readathons I'm doing this month, because I'm doing 2 other readathons as well. You'll find those videos in my on my channel once I get around to filming and publishing them. And super excited about this. This deals with a rapidly dwindling Terran colony on distant Eltanin. They'd been stranded for 600 years. Their only neighbors, primitive nomads who feared them and settled beside them during the cruel 15-year-long winters. And that's how this kind of story starts. And it's part of an overall larger story cycle that she writes about in her Hainish novels. So super excited to get into it. And now the last challenge is choose a book that has a word from a song title. And I have decided to choose The Holy Lance, book 1 of The English Templars by Andrew A. Latham. And I have not read anything by Latham, as far as I don't recall. And I've had this in my Kindle library for quite a while. And it looked interesting and sounded really interesting. And of course, Holy is O Holy Night and probably a few other Christmas songs. So I figured it was the perfect selection. And the Templars, the Knights Templars, are really an interesting and fascinating history. So I'm looking forward to diving into that as well. And that is pretty much my Holly Jolly Readalong TBR. 5 books. This is a week-long TBR. I believe again, it runs from December 19th to December 23rd. And I am really looking forward to it. Go check out Bookish Porcupine's BookTube channel. Again, the link will be down below. There's also a Twitter account for this readathon. I will also put that in the description down below, so you can go to Twitter and follow along. There's going to be book sprints and reading sprints and all sorts of things taking place that week. And she has a bunch of co-hosts who are going to be helping her throughout the week, co-hosting the readathon and doing sprints and everything. So thank you, Bookish Porcupine, for creating this and putting this together. I'm really looking forward to joining in and having a great reading experience in that particular week. And I'm on vacation that week, so I should be able to get through these books because I won't be at work, so I'll not much else to do at that time. I'll just be relaxing, enjoying, and reading. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. I am Charles, the SirBookSage. Happy reading.